Hello, everyone. This is the Seder at War number 5, and I'd like to speak today about the two experiences of Maror that we have at the Seder. I know it's not exactly fun to speak about Maror, and usually I don't. But this year, since we've experienced so much Maror, so much bitterness in our life, I think this is the year that we speak about it. And indeed, at the Seder, Maror seems to be something that is emphasized because it's not just eaten once, but rather twice. First, we eat it independently, and then we eat it in a sandwich together with matzah. Namely, we eat it after matzah independently, after we make a bracha on it, and then we eat it, in accordance with the opinion of Hillel, in a sandwich with matzah. Why do we do it twice? The regular point of view says, because we want to fulfill all opinions. One opinion says that at the same sitting, you have to eat matzah, maror, and korban pesach. So that's what we do. We make sure to eat that when we have it all at the same setting. But there's another opinion, and that opinion is you have to be machmir to not just eat it at the same setting, but eat it at the same time. And therefore we put it all in a sandwich. So we fulfill both opinions. I would like to suggest it's not just two opinions, it's two experiences. One experience is what is, the other experience is what will be. Maror of what is bitterness right now. When a tragic event happens, all explanations in the world will not make bitterness into sweetness. Right now, someone dropped dead. Right now, someone was killed. It is bitter. The only thing you could say in terms of a bracha is Dayan Ha'emet. There's a true judge. We don't understand it. It's a terrible event. You don't go ahead and start dancing when someone dies. You sit shiva. However, that's eating maror alone and independently. There's another point of view, and that is Kol man da'avid rachmana letavavid. Everything that God does is for the best. Right now, we don't understand it, but maybe in a year, 2 years, 200 years, we'll understand how a tragic event that happened then was actually for the benefit of the Jewish people. How, in the scheme of things, it actually was beneficial for God's chosen people. And therefore, we eat a maror a second time, but this time with the symbol of our redemption, with the matzah. Indeed, maybe this explains something that happens way at the beginning of the Seder. We start the Seder and we say, Avadim hayinu lefaru b'mitzrayim, we used to be slaves, vayotzienu Hashem Elokeinu misham, and God, you took us out of there. And indeed, we say, very simply, what is? We used to be slaves, we are no longer slaves, and we are free people since then. Very nice. And then the Baal Haggadah brings that famous story of the rabbis that were sitting in Bnei Brak with none other than Rabbi Akiva. That story has so much more than meets the eye that I believe more has been said about that story than any other story in the history of the Jewish people. Rabbi Akiva was one of the only rabbis that in every story, he didn't just see what was, but what is. The famous story at the end of Masechet Makot says how he was on Har HaZeitim, Har HaTzofim, I forgot which mountain, seeing the Temple Mount now in the hands of our enemies, a fox coming out of the place that used to be the holies of holies, all the rabbis crying for what is a fox coming out of the holies of holies, not a Kohen Gadol. And he's laughing, and they say, why are you laughing? He says, I see what is. But if this fox is coming out of there, that means that the terrible prophecies have come true. If the terrible prophecies are coming true, then for sure, the wonderful prophecies that happen after that terrible prophecy will also come true. Namely, the Seder is not just about what is, but rather what will be. And therefore, we eat maror independently for what is. There's tragedy around us right now. There are captives in captivity. There are soldiers fighting. There are unfortunately bereaved families. There are wounded. There are people maimed. But we also eat it with matzah to remember that as time goes on, we will hopefully see not just benefits for the Jewish people, we will see how all tragedy was part of a beneficial divine plan to benefit the Jewish people. Indeed, one of the customs of the Seder is to wear a kittel. One point of view says, L'chskor Yom HaMita. Here we are, sitting in the lap of luxury with the best dishes on the table. We have to balance ourselves right now for what is, and therefore we wear something that looks like shrouds. But there's another point of view. Says the Netziv, to remember that the Jews used to wear a white garment when they ate the Korban Pesach. There isn't a Korban Pesach at the table. But the Seder is not just about what was and what is, but rather what will be. And therefore, not only do we wash our hands for matzah, which is what is, but rather we also wash our hands for a vegetable dipped in water, because that's the way we are going to act when the temple is be rebuilt for what will be. We eat maror independently for the bitterness that is, but then we mix it with matzah for the day that we will see how all bitterness was for the benefit of the Jewish people. Let's hope those days come soon.